Probably gonna get a lot of hate for this video, but let's go ahead and be brutally honest. In my humble opinion, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate is a much better game in almost every regard when I compare it to Monster Hunter Rise. From what I've seen and played of the expansion, yeah, it's better than the base game, but in terms of content, gameplay, and so much more, the behemoth that is Generations Ultimate just straight up cannot be beat. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty. Make sure to stick around until the end because things are gonna get messy. Firstly, let's just not even think about how much time you're gonna get out of each one, and strictly think in terms of gameplay. Monster Hunter Rise is basically the typical Monster Hunter formula with the anime dial cracked up to 10. There's a lot of cool maneuvers you can pull off thanks to the Wirebug, and the Wirebug skills, depending on what weapon you're using, can be pretty dope to use as well. Now, with the inclusion of the red and blue skill scrolls, you can swap Wirebug skills on the fly, and combat feels as freeform as ever with this expansion. With that being said, being able to use the scrolls and effectively swap between them is another thing entirely. Hell, for a while there, I found myself not swapping scrolls during hunts pretty much ever, and only when I consciously started to try to incorporate it did I even start getting a little used to this feature. But for the most part, unless you want to look like a badass, I didn't feel like it added all that much to a hunt. It's perfectly viable to never swap scrolls during a fight for the entire expansion. It's not like the game's gonna penalize you for it. I don't know, maybe other people feel differently, and maybe it's one of those things you just get better at with more time, but I'm just not a fan of the addition in general, period. That's not to mention Wirefall. This was a problem in Rise, and it still is in Sunbreak. This is the only thing I see people doing on hunts during live streams, and even myself when playing the game. Wirefall is when you get sent tumbling back by a monster, and then boom, you're able to recover instantaneously with one use of your Wirebug gauge, and you can pretty much just chug a potion full health, no problem. And it's safe to do this pretty much every single time. It's too easy to do and way too easy to get away with. It makes hunts boring and more like an endurance fest than an actual test of your skill versus a monster. Not to mention you can refill potions at camp, so just Wirefall and chug away at those potions all you like with no penalties. In my last video on this game, people seemed to think that they were making a great point by saying, well, just don't refill your potions back at camp if you don't like it. To which I say, what a stupid excuse. If the game is gonna sit there and provide me with the option to endlessly chug potions safely all I want, no matter what monster I'm hunting, then that's a problem that needs fixing, not something I should have to work around. By all means, include ways for me to craft extra potions if I need them around the map, just like older Monster Hunters. But at least make me feel like I'm earning those extra heals. But why would I even bother doing that when I can have max potions and max mega potions at the click of a button with the added ability of being able to heal safely every single time? All this brings me to talk about Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. I picked this game back up when I realized Rise just wasn't scratching that Monster Hunter itch that needed to be scratched, and boy, am I glad I did, because wow, this game makes Monster Hunter Rise and its expansion look like doggy water in comparison. In terms of gameplay, wow, you have 6 unique styles, all of which play completely different from one another, as well as the unique weapon types that also play differently depending on which style you picked for your hunter. Aerial style is good for mounting monsters. You can vault off the monster and do mounting attacks anytime you want, but your new roll animation makes you much more vulnerable to monster attacks. Valor Style involves sheathing and unsheathing your sword at opportune moments during monster attacks and retaliating accordingly. A pretty badass way to play that I feel favors the longsword especially, but again, each weapon plays differently with each respective style. And I haven't even touched on all the different hunter arts, which are also all unique to what weapon you're using. Have I used the word unique enough yet? Well, no, because this Monster Hunter really does have it all. My personal favorite style, though, is the Adept style while using a greatsword. There is just absolutely nothing that can compare to getting that perfect dodge in then running up and delivering a level 3 charged attack in retaliation, then following up with another level 3 and a follow-up swing. My god! It is the most satisfying thing I've ever done within a Monster Hunter game. Seriously, I thought Wirebug gameplay was badass, but it ain't shit compared to an Adept Greatsword user in Generations Ultimate. Compared to Skill Swap, mastering the Adept style in Generations Ultimate actually feels rewarding, because when you start perfect dodging these monsters left and right, all the while knocking them on their backs and cutting off their tails with your perfectly charged strikes, you feel like you're the dangerous monster that shouldn't have been messed with. But you will get your ass kicked until you really get a handle on how to utilize the perfect dodge and get more used to how to properly space and time your charged strikes, as it should be. And the real kicker is that you will master it, because if you don't, it's detrimental to your hunt. If you're not good at Adept style, you'd better switch to another one, because some of your moves get taken away from you when using the Adept style. So to use the style to its fullest and defeat the monster as quickly as possible, you have to become really good at it, unlike Skill Swap where you can get by without using the feature whatsoever. But the best part is that if Adept really isn't for you, there are so many different gameplay options to choose from that I'm sure that there's something for everyone. I literally haven't even covered all the different styles in the game. I only talked about, 3 or 4 of them? There's 6 total, like I said. So you will find something to like here. And that's just talking about GU's gameplay alone. In this game, hunts actually feel like hunts. After playing Rise for a while, I was literally bored at how long each monster was taking to kill, and I was never in any real danger of dying at any point during the hunt. Not to mention, tracking the monster is automatically done for you, so Monster Hunter Rise should really just be called Monster Killer Rise, because there's no actual hunting to be done. In Generations Ultimate, everything feels like a threat. There were times where I started sweating because holy shit, this monster has me in a corner and there's no way out but through him. If I get hit by his next strike, I'm dead. Oh my god, I Adept dodged through it just in the nick of time, baby. Whew. Oh, I'm running out of potions. Oh please, when is this monster gonna die, man? Oh, yeah! We beat him. No joke, when I returned to this game, I wiped on Placiath because I was so out of touch with this game for so long after playing Rise, and a difficult Monster Hunter was not a thing I knew still existed until I picked this game back up. But after playing for 30 or so minutes, getting used to the mechanics again, I wiped the floor with him the second time around, and although it was still a hard-fought battle, seeing that victory screen and him flop around like the stupid fish he is until he stopped moving completely so I could carve his innards and make weapons out of him? Man, it was a feeling like no other. A feeling that I thought Monster Hunter couldn't give me anymore. In terms of content, you don't even want to know. I've been playing for about 45 hours and just hit G rank, and that's with me only aiming to do the key quests with undergeared armor. And that's just the multiplayer alone. I haven't even really touched the single player. There are 4 different hubs, each that come from different generations of Monster Hunter games that all have their own key quests for you to do, that then unlock the next subset of quests that you would traditionally do within Burna. Jesus Christ, there's a lot to swallow here. And there's an entirely extra single-player hub area that you can unlock once you pass 10-star quests. And there's an extra multiplayer hub area that gets unlocked when you get to G rank. Oh my god, I really hope I'm getting my point across here. If you own a Switch, you're doing yourself a disservice by not playing this game, especially when I consider what Rise and its respective expansion combined have to offer in comparison. Let's big picture it for you guys here. Rise contained 39 monsters and Sunbreak has added 19 for a total of 58 monsters for you to hunt in Rise and Sunbreak combined. Wanna know how many were in Generations Ultimate? 93. Yeah, you heard that right. 93 large monsters within a single Monster Hunter game. Cephadros, Yeon Garuga, Daimyo Hermitar, Blongonga, and a grand total of 6 new flagship monsters. Granted, that's if you didn't play the original Generations, but still. At least Rise did add 4 entirely unique monsters, so there's that small caveat there. But looking at the big picture, it's insane how gargantuan Generations Ultimate is in terms of pure monster hunting content, versus the pitiful Sunbreak. Plus, consider how all the different hunting styles, hunter arts, and how all of the different weapons interact with each of those respectively, and it is just no contest. In my opinion, it is in every way superior to Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, a game that just came out days ago, while this game was released years ago. And you'd be doing yourself a favor by uninstalling Rise and making room for Generations Ultimate, the best Monster Hunter game I've played since World. It may show its age in some areas with some quality of life features not present here that are in World and Rise, but if you can see past that, I'm telling you, this is an absolute gem that deserves to be played through from start to finish. With that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and make some pancakes, or I'm never making a review on Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. And trust me, that review is a long time coming with how much I have left to go in Generations Ultimate.